I think there's one more thing I wanted to watch before I'll probably get off here. This popped up on my feed. It's time to stop defending Netflix's Witcher. They failed him. The Witcher show gets worse somehow. Henry Cavill quits. You're big mad about this? Yeah, I've heard a lot of drama about this. Let's see what this video's got to say about it. It's not that big of a video.
Over the weekend,
it's like
some
6
Netflix
minutes,
Witcher news that shook the world to its very core was released. Henry Cavill, the show's leading actor, is leaving the role of Geralt after the already filmed Season 3 and will be replaced moving forward by Liam Hemsworth, who of course is most well known for his cameo in Season 1, Episode 3 of the 2015 Muppet series. However,
that's not what he's
the
most
replacement
famous
for Henry
but okay.
is really just a footnote to this story right now, which I think says a lot about the real reaction most fans are having to all of this. Henry announced his departure over on Instagram and ended his post with a line I think is important. He said, "I pass the torch with reverence for the time spent embodying Geralt, and with enthusiasm to see Liam's take on this most fascinating and nuanced of men."
I feel so bad for him because, like, he came into this, like, he's a fan. He plays the games. He loves the games. He loves the books. And he had to, like, fight basically everyone just to get a smidgen of it to be more like in the books and stuff. And it's just sad that he had to in the first place.
Geralt's character and the world of The Witcher, and unfortunately a concept the Netflix show
Also,
is
like
totally unfamiliar with. While no official reason has been publicly given for his departure, it is known that Henry made this decision because he felt like it was time to move on. And more importantly, anyone that's even been sort of paying attention can piece together why this happened, and honestly, it's sad for more reasons than one. Going into the very first season, before the script had even been written, Henry Cavill campaigned for this role because of his love for the series and this character. When watching interviews and press for the show over the past few years, Henry's genuine enthusiasm for the source material has always been clear as day, and equally obvious have been his frustrations with the writing of the show he's been starring in for the past 3 years. He's always kept it professional, of course, but he can only do so much. And it was not even a year ago where Henry very publicly said that he is committed to doing the planned 7 seasons
he was
of the
ready.
Netflix
He was ready to commit to this.
That condition being that the writers can manage to tell great stories while honoring the source material this show is apparently meant to be based on. Now, when this news dropped on Saturday, the reaction I saw almost everywhere was total shock, with much of that shock coming from devastated fans. If I'm being honest, my reaction was kind of the opposite. I was not particularly surprised. There were rumors of this over a year ago that people kind of ignored because they didn't like it. And after Season 2, I really struggled to see Henry sticking around for the long haul. And when I saw the headline this Saturday, my first thought towards Henry's decision was, good for you. There was also the news that many of you have probably already heard. Henry will be stepping back into the role of Superman in a major way in the future, but don't kid yourself, he wouldn't have left a role he campaigned so hard for if this show weren't the fantasy equivalent of Dexter Season 8. It's not hard to put the pieces together of what really happened here when you compare the absolute travesty that was Season 2 with the genuine reverence Henry has for the books. Despite the straw man arguments I see all the time, Netflix Witcher has never ever been a situation where you have an on-screen adaptation of a book series that changes some necessary things when moving from the page to screen. No, this has always been, from day one, but especially with Season 2, a situation where you have a great core story with nuanced characters and a room of writers who think they can do better. It was just a couple of weeks ago when a former writer from the Netflix Witcher team said in an interview that some of the writers' room, I would guess,
I heard about this,
disliked the books and would.
This is so fucking stupid. This pisses me off on so many levels. Not just for this, but for the whole fucking industry. If you're adapting something from someone that has already written that story, that character, don't act. If you don't enjoy what you're adapting, if you don't like it, don't write for it. Get the fuck out. Leave. Don't be hiring people that actively dislike what you're adapting. Jesus Christ. Also, I changed a lot of the people who worked on Season 1 too. For fuck's sake.
Take to mocking them constantly. That shouldn't come as a surprise considering what Season 2 was, but I find it sort of embarrassing when you look at the final product. I always get the impression that a lot of people that aren't familiar with the books think it's an exaggeration when it's said that Season 2 was not really even an adaptation, but that is just the truth. Objectively speaking, no opinion here, apart from character and location names, 90+% of the second season had absolutely nothing to do with the book it was marketed as adapting. And the real crime there, and this part is an opinion of course, is that absolutely everything they replaced was done so with something drastically worse. In no way did they make any improvements to what they thought they could do better than. Bringing that concept back around to Henry, I just can't imagine having that real strong desire and sense of responsibility to tell these stories
for House
the way
of the
they deserve
Dragon,
to be
the
told,
writers
and then
legit
having
hate
to
the
show up on
fans.
set every day
Jesus.
watching these beloved characters get butchered. It's just such a shame because with proper writing, Henry as Geralt could have been a casting for the ages, meaning something that could be looked back upon for years and years. It was pretty perfect, especially when you consider the passion involved on his end. And there has always been an element of frustration for me watching Henry give the role his all in service of writing that makes Peppa Pig look deep and profound. I hate to be so blunt because I don't like being negative. There's a reason that for Season 2 I made one short review and that was that. No follow-ups because I had no desire to put any more energy into something I did not enjoy. That said, it is so frustrating as a Witcher fan to watch this show chew up and spit out one of the only good things about it. There's no resentment towards Henry here, and there shouldn't be from anyone. Season 2 had already taken the show to a point I felt was beyond saving without some sort of miracle in the writer's room. It completely destroyed several core relationships that are foundational to the rest of the story.
Season 2 is such a letdown.
I'm not acting like the show is only now in trouble because of his departure. The writing is and always has been the problem, and Henry Cavill there as Geralt or not, no actor is going to be able to overcome what the cast of The Witcher have been working with. I have seen absolutely no hate towards Cavill for his choice.
You could be the best actor in the entire universe, but if you have shitty writers behind you, there's not much you can do. Like, you're not going to be able to save it. There's only so much you can do.
Choice, which in my opinion is the proper stance. Yes, he's the one that left the show, but his hand was forced. He's a very in-demand actor. Why would he want to commit another half-decade of his career to this? That's not even to mention that I wouldn't at all be surprised if Netflix didn't want to pay what he's worth to the show, because contracts were up for renegotiations for Season 4.
Like, Season 1 was fun and clearly a different adaptation, but it was
about the
enjoyable.
upcoming season with Henry, which is Season 3. Is it just more of the same? Because if so, that's already enough to totally understand the choice. But if it's somehow worse, then I'm honestly going to be somewhat impressed in a sort of cynical way. This Witcher show should have been the next Game of Thrones, a real cultural fantasy phenomenon. But now us fans, at least the ones that don't particularly like the show, are just stuck waiting for the next attempt. Barring a divine miracle in the writer's room the likes of which have never been seen, then better luck next time, I guess. Well, that is it for today. Thank you, by the way, for 50,000 subscribers. The channel turned a year old this month, and we also hit 50K last week, which is pretty cool. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like as it helps to get my content out there. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you make of all of this, and I will see you in the next one.
It just blows my mind. Like, when I hear things like this, and this isn't like just this, but I've heard so much about adaptations and stuff where the writers literally hate what they're writing about, which honestly ends up showing in whatever show or movie they're adapting. It just makes it worse. Because these fucking writers have these fucking egos, or just hate what they're working on so much that they end up ruining it for everybody else. The people in charge of hiring writers for what you're adapting, get your fucking head out your ass. Hire people that are hyped for the content you're adapting, that love or at least like what they're adapting and writing about. That should not be hard. That should not be hard. I shouldn't have to tell you the bare minimum writer you need is one that will, actually write about the source material and adapt it correctly and with enthusiasm. Reminds you of Star Trek 2009. Still love Star Trek 2009, but it's very different. The second movie is just trash. Third one is good though. Yeah, it just blows my mind. It just blows my mind. It's crazy.